about the Game Awards for 2021. They are tomorrow, December 9th, which is my birthday. And they will be popping off at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time. So I want to go through and talk about a little bit about the awards in general, kind of what I think of them. And then I am going to run through the categories. I'm going to try to go through quick. Some of these, the categories are not, I don't really care. So I'm not going to go over every single one of them, but I think like the ones that I think are a little more important, I want to talk about them, and I want to talk about the games. I didn't play every single game on this list. There's no way that I could. I just do not have the time. But so let's get into this real quick. So first off, I'm not going to say that I think the Game Awards are trash. I don't think that they're amazing though. I'm kind of in the middle with them. For me personally, I think that the Game Awards, it's just a popularity contest, and it's really who's ever popular with games journalists and games media in general. I'm not really a big fan of games media. I think it's obvious that there's plenty of agenda, and that that media in general slants a very specific way, games media specifically. And I used to be a really big fan of like the big corporate sites before they were kind of known as being corporate. And I used to watch a lot of reviews. I read a lot of articles. I used to love reading comment sections. I used to listen to tons of podcasts from a lot of the big sites. And I actually, like, I started hearing things more and more during reviews. And they were the reasons that they were giving for the scores that they were making or giving to these games. They were very questionable. Let's, let's leave it at that. But I didn't believe, I started believing less and less of what they were actually trying to do, which was they were saying that they were reviewing a game. But I don't know how many times I would listen to reviewers, journalists who do the reviews. They would tell me all these reasons of why this game, like it lacked in certain areas and was poor in that area, poor in this area. But these things were good. So 9 out of 10. And it's amazing. And it still happens to this day. There's still games coming out right now. And I still check in on these, on the media sites from time to time. Most of my reviews, and just news in general that I get, it's from YouTube. I peruse my regular subscribed channels, listen to the news, and I just can't go back to listening to the journalists that I used to really like. Some of them I still listen to here and there, but I can't, it's so much of it's just slanted, and so much of it feels like games media and the reviews are just trying to sell you the game, and they're trying to sell you the game that they want you to buy. And that's why I think there's so many games now that come out where it's every game is great. Every game is good or great or fantastic. And I just don't think that they don't give an honest opinion, and they hide behind the excuse of, this is just my opinion. Well, that's not true. It's not just your opinion. Game journalist, game reviewer, you're representing your site. You're representing the company, the corporation. So when IGN, GameSpot, Game Informer, any of the big ones. I mean, that's just the top 3 I can think of off the top of my head. Whenever they give a review, I've listened to that argument so much on podcasts after the fact, where they would give a game a 9 or a 10, and then they would say, this is just my opinion. It's just my opinion. So, it's not perfect. And it's like, well, it's not just your opinion though, because you're slapping that on the corporate banner and saying, this is what we think of it. Because when games do a promo and they splash all of the the high ratings that they've gotten from all the, the review sites, it doesn't say John Doe gave it a 10. Jane Doe gave it a 10. It's not. It's IGN gave it a 10. GameSpot gave it a 10. Kotaku, or I can't, like, it's been so long. I just don't have my head in there anymore, but it's their company says it's a 10 or a 9.5. So I don't really buy that it's just my opinion excuse anymore. I just don't. And I also don't believe that I don't believe that they're getting paid in terms of, and this is one that I used to, this got really old. Games reviewers would say, it's not like we're getting bags of cash. There's this misconception that reviewers review a game after the check clears or after this big bag of money comes and gets sat on their desk. No shit, that's not how it happens. Okay, that's annoying. That's such an annoying excuse. We know if a games review site or games media in general, we know what they're paying for. They're paying for access. That's the whole thing. That's what it's worth games media to hype up the big games or the games that they get the most exclusives to. They get the first, the first trailer, the first whatever. That's worth money, because if you're first, you get the most clicks, you're going to get the most traffic, you're going to get more ads showing up, you're going to get more ad revenue. It's not I'm not saying that the business model is bad. I'm just saying, stop the bullshit. Stop saying that. I'm tired of that. It's just my opinion. And I don't like it when people make that excuse, because it's not just their opinion. Their review represents the entire logo. And do I think they're getting money slid across the table to them to review and give it a good review? No, I don't think that. But I do think that the logo and the corporation is going to lean a very specific way to make the access that much more accessible, to be the first to, preview a game or cut the first story on the direction of the game or whatever. So that's part of the reason why when I hear the Game Awards and I hear that these are being voted on by over 100 games journalists and influencers or whatever, that's why I just kind of back away. I'm not, it's like, okay, right then when I hear that, and I heard that on the preview for the nominee selection, it was, it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, it would be like any other news site, like any political news site, any of the main ones. If you say any of them, it's like, okay, you know what they're about, what they're leaning one way or the other. And games media leans a very specific way. And I really don't put a lot of stock into these awards for that reason. That's why, for me, the Game Awards are important to check out and worth checking out and worth my time is the game trailers and the game announcements. I hope that there's going to be some good ones. I really do. I'm curious as to what, I'm curious as to who and what has something ready that we don't know about, like the sequel to Breath of the Wild. I know a lot of people are hyped for that one. I'm not personally, but I understand. I'm not hating on that game at all. Is there going to be gameplay from God of War Ragnarok? Is there going to be something big coming? So, there's reason to watch the Game Awards, and I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm gonna, but I just don't put a lot of stock into the actual awards. And the other thing too, in terms of the awards, specifically Game of the Year is a big old just popularity contest. It really is, and I think it's getting more and more obvious. So who's going to win the Game of the Year and who's going to win specific awards. And when I go through these categories, I'm going to say the category, the name of the games that are being nominated, and then I'm going to give my pick. So let's go ahead and dive into this. Let's see what's happening. So, best performance So that's voice acting. You know, whoever who is acting who's doing the voice acting for characters in the game. Erica Mori for Life is Strange: True Colors. Giancarlo Esposito for Far Cry 6. Jason Kelly for Deathloop. Maggie Robertson for Resident Evil Village, and Oziama Akag, I think that's her name. Sorry, not trying to hate on it. For Deathloop. So one thing that I will say, you heard me say Deathloop twice. I think Deathloop is nominated for 7 games, and games media loved that shit. I'm not saying it's bad. I didn't play it. I thought it looked interesting. I can't remember the type of game it is now. I'm drawing a blank. Basically, where you start over in your same spot and you just sort of play through the same levels over and over, like a roguelike. That's what it is. And just wasn't, that was the one thing that turned me off. If it wasn't a roguelike, I would have played it. That game, the art style I thought was great. So, but Deathloop is getting nominated for a lot of stuff. And so for this one, I'm either going to go. I'm going to say it's going to be Erica Mori for Life of Strange. Life is Strange, True Colors, but I think Oziama Okag will win Deathloop for Deathloop as well. I think those are the two, but I think Erica's going to be the one who wins that. Best multiplayer. We got Back for Blood, Knockout City, Monster Hunter Rise, New World, It Takes Two, and Valheim. I have a soft spot for Back for Blood. I did an impressions video of that. I thought that was a really fun game. I've kind of backed away from it. I put tons of hours into it, and so like I said before, every game you kind of hit that wall, and I haven't really slammed into the wall, but I can see it coming. Knockout City, never played it. Monster Hunter, I tried playing Monster Hunter when it first came out, and I just could not get into it. I don't know what it was. It just didn't grab me like I wanted it to. And that's a game that I've tried twice. I've tried to play that game twice and just nothing. So, but people who like that game, they have a lot of good reasons to like it, because it seems like the type of game that I would love, but I don't know, just didn't get me. Never played New World, never even heard of that one. Knockout City, don't know that one either. It Takes Two, I heard of that one. I don't know much about it. And then Valheim, I downloaded and played, put a couple nights worth of gaming into it. That's all right. So I'm going to guess, I'm going to say Monster Hunter wins it, but I want Back for Blood to win. I think Back for Blood could win. That's who I want to win, but I think Monster Hunter Rise will win. But Back for Blood could do it. Best ongoing game. I have Apex Legends, Call of Duty Warzone, Final Fantasy 14, Genshin Impact, and Fortnite. So ongoing game, it's like games of service, basically. Apex, I tried playing that one too, and when that game came out, I was kind of multiplayered out. I just wasn't feeling it, but I did play some, and it's just it's tight. Like the gameplay is really tight. They brought in this new ping system that's like every game's basically emulating now. It's such a basic system, but it works so well in that game. Call of Duty Warzone, never played it, didn't have any desire to. Final Fantasy 14, that's a game that I think I'm gonna pick up. I think I'm gonna get into that game. I play Elder Scrolls Online, and it's just a game that's always on my system, and I wish I had a counter or a timer on it, but I would not be surprised if it was over 1,000 hours by now, because I've been playing that game since it came out, and I played so many parts of that game. The DLCs when they come out, it's one of those games when new stuff comes out, I'll dive back in, play it for like 3 or 4 weeks, and then dip out and play something else. But it just sits there. It's my go-to. And Final Fantasy 14 it's getting a lot of love, and I know a lot of people are bailing on World of Warcraft to go to Final Fantasy 14, which that's actually a very interesting point. World of Warcraft is not on this list. That says a lot, because that game was just monstrous for so long, and it's like the last couple of years it's just been they haven't been doing it. So, and Fortnite, I tried playing Fortnite. It's just not my type of game. Not that type of multiplayer, but it's huge, and I totally respect what it's done. But I'm gonna say I think Final Fantasy 14 is too. I know it's had this kind of resurgence because, if I'm not mistaken, the online, there was something about the online. I don't remember specifically, but that's only been recent that it just has the online, the Final Fantasy 14 just been crazy. Um, so I'm gonna say Fortnite wins, but I would not be surprised if Final Fantasy won. And I think I think Final Fantasy should win. That's my pick. So I'm going to say the ones that I want to win and the ones that I think will win. So the one that I want to win is Final Fantasy, but I think Fortnite will take it. Best art direction, Deathloop again, Kena, Bridge of Spirits, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and The Artful Escape. So best art direction. I've seen some of Kena, and it looks really cool. It's a game that I was like, okay, I'll pick that up in like 6 months and check it out when it's like $5 or whatever. Psychonauts 2, I think looks cool, and I know people that play that game really like it. I just I understand like what the story is about, and it sounds really intriguing, but the art style for me, the art style just does nothing for me. I don't know why. It's just the way the characters are drawn, and I don't know, it just doesn't grab me. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, played it, beat it. This is the best looking game that I've played on PlayStation 5, on any console. Not talking about you. I'm not talking to you PC guys. I know you guys are rocking heavy duty shit that I just can't afford right now. But on PlayStation 5, this game was just amazing. Just visually. I'm just talking about visuals. It was just, I mean, so good. It's just so good. Yeah, there's no other words for it. Just amazing. Artful Escape, never played it. Don't know. So I'm gonna say that best art direction. I think Ratchet and Clank. I think this is gonna be the one that they should win based on the level of the art. But I think it's this art direction to me sort of is more like creativity, and Ratchet and Clank has been around for so long. I just don't think I don't think it can take it. I think there's another category that it will take though. I think it's going to get one, but I'm going to say art direction, probably Kena or Psychonauts 2. That's who I think, hmm, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll say Psychonauts 2 is going to win that one. Best score in music, Cyberpunk 2077, Deathloop, Near Replicant 1.22474487139. That's the name of the game. I'm not lying. Guardians of the Galaxy and The Artful Escape. So I played Cyberpunk 2077, put I'd say a good dozen to 15 hours into that game. I liked it, but there was so much that it was missing, and I knew that at one point it's gonna be a much more complete game with more things to do. And I played it on PS5, and I didn't have a lot of the problems that most people did, fortunately, but I backed away because it did bug out. And then that was kind of my execute. I was like, okay, this one mission bugged out on me. I put, like I said, about a dozen hours into it. So I didn't feel terrible about it, but this one mission just wouldn't really work for me. So I was kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna check out. I'll come back. So I'll go back and play that game. But the music was good. I don't remember it being like crazy good though. I don't know. Maybe my memory's, it's not as sharp as it used to be. I don't recall the music just being amazing. It was good. Deathloop, I don't know. Near Replicant, I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, if that's Near or Automata, I think that's a sequel to that. And I know that the first one, or if it is the first one, it had amazing music. I actually listened to some of the score on that, and it was awesome. So Guardians of the Galaxy, Artful Escape, like I said, never played it, don't know about it. I think best score in music will go to Guardians of the Galaxy, though. I do, because that's the type of, like, the soundtrack for that game. If I'm not mistaken, it's very much similar to the movies. So, but I don't know if it's great. But if they have similar songs that are from either of the movies, I think I think it's just going to this is going to be the one time where this game is going to win. Actually, I think there's two, but I think it's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy or Nier. I think I'd probably say Nier. I think Nier should probably win it. but I think that they might give it to Guardians. Best audio design. So the difference being with audio design, it's my understanding is it's more of like environmental sounds and sound effects. Um, dealing using like the 3D audio or the 5.1 surround sound really well. So Deathloop again, Forza Horizon 5, surprising. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Resident Evil Village, and Returnal. So I think that this is going to be Returnal's win because, and I didn't play Returnal because again, it's another roguelike that you have to play and lose, and then go back and play it again, and you just play the same stuff over and over. You progress, but but the look of it looked really cool. The visual of it was really great. So I'm gonna say Returnal, but I'm gonna say I think Returnal will win it, but I'm gonna say Resident Evil is probably the one that may get it. Now I do want to say something real quick, and I meant to mention this earlier, so I apologize, but Deathloop being nominated for so many categories, I think this is gonna go one of two ways. I think they're either going to wipe the floor with all these categories. They're going to win like 5 out of these things, 5 out of the 7, or however many they're nominated for. Or Deathloop is going to take home like the most important ones, the biggest ones, and like audio design, that type of stuff is going to go to the other studios. Um, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I think Returnal will win this one, but I think Resident Evil could snag it. Best independent game. Now these ones I don't really know. So 12 Minutes, Death's Door, Kena, Bridge of Spirits, Inscription, and Loop Hero. The only 2 games that I know is 12 Minutes and Kena. It's or Kena. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm terrible when I'm reading names. I'm not that good. So 12 Minutes looked really cool, and it's got some really cool voice acting, but I've heard that game is just it's not designed well, and it not that it's buggy or anything, but it's just like the way they designed it just didn't work out too well for them. So I'm gonna just take a shot in the dark and just say uh Kana. Yeah, because that's the only one I really know. But I honestly I don't really want to call one on that one. I just don't know. Best community support. Um, so this is like the game that gets the best ongoing online game. So Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Beyond Light, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, No Man's Sky. So I think I think Destiny 2 could win this one. Now, I'm a big Destiny fan. I started at the very beginning with Destiny 1. I jumped on D2, spent lots of time. I probably spent well into the 2000s of hours, like 2000 plus hours on that game. I'm sorry, both those games combined. I think that Destiny 2, I think it should win because it has done such a great job of just dumping content. It has been they have been dishing out a steady diet of really good content, quality stuff. Now, they have made plenty of mistakes, and I'm not saying the Bungie has earned a lot of the criticism that's levied against them, and I'm not going to defend that. I just think if you measure the actual content being doled out, I think they're probably the best. Um, so I'm going to pick Destiny on that one, but I think I don't know. No Man's Sky. That's a good story. No Man's Sky came out with this really overhyped. Just it was so overhyped by the media. Games media just they there was a kick-ass trailer at E3, and it really a lot of people took notice of it, but I was skeptical. I really was because of the size of the studio, what they were saying they could do. I was like, how the hell are they going to accomplish the things that they say they can do? I really was skeptical, but I bought it day one because I was like, hey, you know what? I want to be in there and just see what's going on. And it was kind of a letdown. So, and then it just got ravaged. Like it was so funny. It was like the media hyped that game to the highest of heights, and then when it didn't deliver, it was just like, oh cool, they got the whole act 2 of clicks because it was just article after article about how bad it was, or how poor it, executed on what it said it was going to do. But they've really come back. It's Hello Games. They props to them. They have put their nose down and they have just delivered updates and content for, my goodness. I think that game came out like, jeez, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I don't even remember. It's been a minute and they've been working on it. So, but I think Destiny is kind of my pick. I think that's me personally, but I'm going to say it's going to be, I think Final Fantasy is going to take this one. Yeah. All right. Best action game. Back for Blood, Chivalry 2, Deathloop again, Far Cry 6, and Returnal. So action game, I think that, because the only game on here that I don't really know about is that Chivalry 2. So I don't want to talk about like, oh, well, I think it's got a shot or doesn't. I'm just not sure. But I think, I'm gonna have to say, I think Deathloop's gonna snag this one. I just do. I think this is because the best action game is kind of a it's a more notable category. So I think Deathloop's gonna snag it. But I would like to see Returnal grab that one. To be honest with you, what I've heard about that game, it sounds really good, and they've the the like the technical things that they did with the sound alone, which is why I think they should win that one sound award, was so great. And from the technical standpoint, like I said, I didn't play it, so I'm not trying to just repeat what other people say. But the things that were explained to me technically, it was sounded like, I was like, wow, that sounds like they've done a great job. And I thought it, and it's like in terms of an action game, that is like just the gameplay, like is like the epitome of action. It's just like shit's going off all the time. You're on you're sliding around, you're doing all kinds of shit. So yeah, I think Returnal. But I think Deathloop's gonna win it, but I think Returnal should. Best action adventure game: Guardians of the Galaxy, Metroid Dread, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Resident Evil Village, and Psychonauts 2. So best action adventure, honestly, I think this is going to be the one that Nintendo snags. It's actually notable to talk about that for a second. Nintendo, this is the only game they have on here, and it's been a slow year for them. I mean, I have a Switch, and I don't hate my Switch. I have learned that I'm not much of a mobile gamer, though. Sitting there holding something in front of me and staring at a screen, I do that so much with my phone and at work. I work on a computer all day. It's just, I don't know. I want to, when I play a game, I kind of want to be kicking back. I don't want to be like scrunched up and all uptight up on my screen. I don't know. It's just my style. I don't know. I'm just old and lazy, I guess. But I'm not hating on the Switch at all. It's getting the props that it should. But I just think that this is going to be the one that is just going to. So I think Metroid is going to win it, and I think it should. I know that there was a lot of talk about the size of that game and how, what's it really worth? Because, and that's a whole different discussion. But yeah, I'm going to say that one. I'm going to say Metroid Dread. Best role-playing game: Cyberpunk 2077, Monster Hunter Rise, Scarlet Nexus, Shin Megami Tensei 5, Tales of Arise. This one, to be honest with you, I've only played 2 of these games, and I didn't even play the Monster Hunter Rise. The other 3 I know very little about, so I don't know. It's kind of whatever, because Cyberpunk 2077, in terms of a role-playing game, I think it did some good things. It laid a good foundation. However, it executed so poorly on a technical side, it just hampered that. And I don't think that the role-playing was perfect. I think there was definitely flaws, and there was exploits that you can get infinite money. So yeah, I don't think 2077, I don't think it's going to win anything, to be honest with you. And I don't think it deserved the hate that it got. And I think I think media just enjoyed just shitting on that game and just trashing it. Not saying that it didn't deserve criticism. That's not what I'm saying. I just felt like it was so overdone because it was so hyped. Games media hyped the shit out of this game, hyped it to the just the highest level. article after article, videos, all this stuff. And then when it came out and it didn't deliver all of the things that it said it was going to do, like it blatantly just didn't do things it said was going to be in the game. Then it was like I said, it was like a whole nother 6 months worth of just clicks for media. So yeah, I'm going to say role playing game. Like I said, I don't know the other three, so I don't know. You just pick one. To be honest with you, I apologize for not. I was gonna sit down and kind of look at every single game and go watch reviews on all these games, but like I've said before, I do have a full-time job. I do this in my spare time, and on the weekends and stuff. It's my time is limited, so I thought about it and I said it's I just don't have the time. So I apologize. This isn't. I'm not the I'm not the games journalist that knows every studio and has all the insights and stuff. I'm not I'm not the guru of gaming like I used to be. And a lot of it's just because of my job. I just don't really have the time. So I apologize for that, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not just going to pick some shit and just make up a bunch of stuff about it. So let's move along to most anticipated game. Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Breath of the Wild sequel, so that was kind of cheesy, and Starfield. So I want to talk about each one of these. Elden Ring, they just dropped a trailer, a gameplay. I'm sorry, it wasn't a trailer. They dropped a section of gameplay to reviewers, influencers, what have you, and they got to play it, a section of it, and then reveal what they played and talk about it. That shit looked pretty cool. It looked really cool. And I am not the Souls-like player. I've tried Souls a couple of times, Souls-like games, and I don't know what it is. It's one of those games or styles of games that I want to play so bad because they have the coolest enemy designs. You're talking about Bloodborne, Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Neo. What was that one that got all the hype? My buddy's gonna hate me for not remembering it. Oh man, it's like his favorite game. It's like Samurai's, but I'm totally forgetting it. It'll come to me later. Regardless, I've tried, and it's like I've wanted to play those games because they look so amazing. And the combat you gotta be focused, and I don't know, just it never clicked with me. And I'm gonna keep trying. That's a game type of game that I'm gonna keep playing until it clicks. That's on my bucket list of gaming. I'm going to learn and I'm going to beat a Souls-like game. It's going to happen. Maybe it's Elden Ring, but it looked really good. God of War Ragnarok, the trailer for that, it just looks amazing. I think Sony Santa Monica, they're just firing on all cylinders right now. And I've said this before, I didn't even beat God of War, not because of any other reason, but I didn't have the time with my job. And at that time I was buying every single game that came out. And that year it was like, Horizon came out, Spider-Man came out, Red Dead Redemption, God of War. I think all four of those games came out that year. There just isn't enough time in the day. But I'm still hyped for this, and I will beat God of War before I play this game. Absolutely. I'll turn it on easy if I have to and just run through, because I want to see how the story ends. Some of it's been spoiled because I obviously, you can see the characters who have made it. Horizon Forbidden West. So the gameplay trailer for this game looked amazing. It looked so good. However, I am not a fan of Horizon. I've tried to play that game 3 times. The second time I played it, I got into it and probably dumped a good 8 hours into it. Got pretty far in terms of like story and like getting out of the beginning area and starting to travel through the world and stuff. The combat just is not that good to me. The bow and arrow stuff is cool. That's cool, and the traps and that type of stuff. But just the actual like hand-to-hand type combat, and maybe I just needed to progress the progression system and unlock more things. But man, I thought the combat was kind of boring. It was just like tap the one trigger over and over. So, but it looked really good. I thought it looked good, and I thought the premise and the story was intriguing and captivating. It just, the characters didn't really grab me. Aloy just didn't do anything to really get me like, oh man, I feel so this for her. Like I feel sorry for her, or I think she's awesome and a badass. I just thought she was just like, okay, she's not a bad character, just didn't do anything. So, but like I said, the trailer for this one, I wish I hope that they like update the combat, make it a little more nuanced and with like the bow and arrow, because then I'd be all up in that. I really would. Breath of the Wild, and it's just so funny because the Game Awards and and it's so funny. I just remembered this. I forgot to say this earlier, so I apologize. So these Game Awards are hosted by Jeff Keighley, and good for him. And I'll talk about him at the end of it. But when he was reading these off, he said Breath of the Wild sequel because it doesn't have a name. So I don't know. I mean, that being on the list of things for like most anticipated, and I believe this is like voter, so like you and I can vote on this. I think that kind of signals something to me. I think we're going to see something on Breath of the Wild, and I think it would be really cool, really cool. Starfield, okay, you're probably not going to like what I have to say, and if you're an Xbox fan, you're probably going to think that I'm just trying to be a Sony pony or whatever the hell they call us. I think this game is overhyped. I don't think we've seen shit about this game. We have not seen enough to say it looks amazing or it's going to be awesome. Okay. There's one thing that I think that everyone seems to forget, and I don't know why, but this is a Bethesda game. Todd Howard is standing front and center bragging about this shit. Come on. Look, Fallout 76 was terrible. Like that game was just shit. Now you may say, "Oh, I played that game and I had a lot of fun." That's cool. I'm cool with you liking it. I'm not saying anything about you if you do like it. But the majority of people who play that game, they had very major complaints about the game, and they were pretty sound arguments. Technically, it was just shit. It looked like crap. And that was the thing that just based on what I saw from the game, because I knew when I saw the trailer, the first time I saw Fallout 76, I was like, nope, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing, Todd. And sure enough, he sat there and told everyone it's the largest feat technically we've ever done and graphically, and it's going to be beautiful and all this shit. And then it came out and I was like, told you, I knew that was going to happen. It was, I would say it's right up there with Alien Colonial Marines and Gearbox with Randy Pitchford and the shit that he did. I mean, those guys, to me, they're one and the same. They're going to tell you about all the shit. They're going to brag and boast and say all the cool shit. And they're going to, hang their hat so high on it. And then, and then when it comes out, no one like ever holds them accountable. I really, and so when I see Todd Howard standing out there talking about Starfield and how it's going to be this, it's going to be that, promises. And then we see a trailer that's just a teaser trailer. And the thing about the teaser trailer that drove me nuts was it really didn't show us shit. And I saw so many videos with, games media saying, oh, in this part where we saw the ship and you see the inside, and they just dissected it as though it was like this such a revelation. Like, you've never seen the inside of a spaceship. You've never seen any sort of sci-fi movie, show. You never played a sci-fi game. It was just so much hype. And all the hype is being hindered on one man's words. And I'm not, he's done it before. Todd Howard's done this before. So sorry. I think Starfield, I need to see a lot more of that game. Actual gameplay, not CGI, not teaser trailer, actual gameplay. Then I will let you know. Because I think this game is way overhyped. And I don't think I'm pretty sure it's supposed to come out next year. I think that's getting delayed. They haven't shown anything. And you know what? If Todd Howard and Bethesda come out and they drop a trailer and it's gameplay trailer and it's like 5 minutes of gameplay at the Game Awards, I'm going to be so stoked. I'd be psyched just to see it. Because if it's really great, hey, you know what? I'm looking for a reason to jump on some Xbox stuff. I really am. I was hoping Halo was going to do it, but I just didn't. Sorry. Let's move along. So we are moving on to. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's say most anticipated game. Who I think is going to win it. Um, I think Breath of the Wild. I think Breath of the Wild because that's just a very popular game. It didn't bite me, but like didn't get into me. Like get its hooks in me. It didn't bite me. That sounded wrong. Um, but I think Breath of the Wild is probably going to take that one. But what I think should win, Elden Ring. That's what I think. So best sim strategy game. I used to be such a strategy game player. God, Age of Empires, like 1 and 2, hours. Love that game. So Age of Empires 4, Evil Genius 2, World Domination, Humankind, Inscription, Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I'm going to say that because I don't know 3 of these games, Evil Genius, Humankind, or Inscription. I just don't know them. But for me personally, I think Age of Empires, just because like I said, I put so much time into those games. I haven't played this one. I'd like to see it win, just for the old time's sake. But I think Microsoft will and should win this one. Microsoft Flight Simulator looks amazing. Like it looks amazing. And I know it's just a sim, but damn is it a good one. And there's just so many like different vehicles you can fly, planes and stuff, helicopters. I mean, I think there's helicopters. I say that. No, I'm not sure because like I said, I've never played it. But man, it just looks good. I've watched people play that game. It looks beautiful. So I think Microsoft Flight Simulator should win that game or should win that award. All right, best sports racing game. So F1 2021, FIFA 22, Hot Wheels Unleashed, Forza Horizon 5, and Riders Republic. So I'm a big F1 fan. In fact, the championship race, the last race where it's coming down between Verstappen and Hamilton, go Verstappen, that's my guy. I think there's no way F1's going to win because I am like one of a few people in America who give a damn about F1. It's more of a European thing, but I just absolutely love F1 racing. Never miss a race, never miss a qualify. If I do, pisses me off. FIFA 22, I know there's a huge following of FIFA 22, but with the loot boxes and the shit that the studio has pulled and like the money stuff and how they're being scandalous with the odds of the card packs and all that shit. Yeah, I don't think FIFA 22 is going to win strictly because it would just look bad because they have been in the press for a few and not just like, oh, media's trashing them because of so and so. No, there is legitimate shit going on with FIFA and EA in terms of gambling and what they're doing. So yeah, I just don't think FIFA can win. Hot Wheels Unleashed. I think the game looks so fun. I just don't have enough time to play all these games that I want to, but that one's on my list of games. Like, yeah, I will be playing that one. I want to check it out. I used to love playing with Hot Wheel cars when I was a kid. That was my thing. Forza Horizon 5 and Riders Republic. So Forza looks amazing. Everyone who played it said they really liked it. My understanding is it's another Forza game. So, and Forza, and I don't think it's terrible, but I don't know. It's another Forza game. It's just kind of the same thing. Riders Republic. I wanted to try that until I started after I saw what it was and the reviews came out and I could kind of see how the gameplay was. It just kind of turned me off. So, but if I had to guess, Forza Horizon 5, I think will win it. And should. Yeah, that's what I think. But I don't know, just in it, like the soft spot in me for the Hot Wheels. I like to see that one. Best esports game, Call of Duty, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Dota 2, League of Legends, and Valorant. So League of Legends and Dota 2 are, in my opinion, they're in like another stratosphere. At least they were when I was really paying attention. Never played them, never wanted to play them, but I know that they have just massive followings and the esport side of it. I mean, there's kids, they're winning like stacks, dude, like millions of dollars to win Dota tournaments, like the big ones. So, and League of Legends, by the way, Counter-Strike Global Offensive or CS:GO. that one's been around forever, and it's still like one of the top games. I've never played it, never wanted to. Call of Duty to me, I'm kind of Call of Duty'd out. I'm all good. Used to play them annually. Spent hundreds of hours on multiplayer. But I think in Valorant, I haven't played it, so I don't even know anything about it. But if I had to guess, I don't know anything about like what's come out with in terms of Dota and League of Legends. I don't know what's new with them because I kind of stopped paying attention when I walked away from the games media in general and started focusing more on YouTube. It kind of shifted my perspective on what I actually wanted to pay attention to, because I used to just try to soak up every single bit of information from the media sites, just everything. If I clicked on so many stories and read so many articles, watched so many videos. I don't know. And then when I kind of got real sick of them, and I kind of, my eyes opened up and I saw what was really going on and started paying attention, and I was like, eh. So I think it's going to be Dota or League of Legends. This is what I think, but I just don't know. Best game direction and design: Deathloop again, Psychonauts 2 again, It Takes Two, Returnal, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. So game direction and design. So I think Deathloop's going to take this one because all the media is raving about the game design, like how the gameplay. And Psychonauts 2, I haven't heard anything much about how the gameplay is amazing, but I've heard that's good. It's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad, but just the story is really great. So It Takes Two, I just don't know. Returnal and Ratchet and Clank, I don't think they're going to take this. I think hmm, I think Ratchet and Clank could take this one. I think they could. I think that they could, but I don't think they will, because it's kind of a big award and it just didn't get a lot of love. Now, and again, I'm not saying it's, because I played it and beat it and enjoyed it. I know what it's about, and I know that the game design is great. It's really good. It's not like amazing or anything. So I'm going to say Deathloop 2, or Deathloop takes this one. But I think Returnal's got a shot at this one. And so now we are at the final game of the year. So Deathloop are so this is the game and the studio. So game of the year: Deathloop from Arcane Studios, It Takes Two from Hazelight, Metroid Dread from Mercury. I think he said Steam. I didn't look it up. I actually forgot. Sorry about that. And Nintendo. Psychonauts 2, Double Fine Studios, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart from Insomniac Studios, and Resident Evil Village from Capcom. Capcom. I'm actually surprised I didn't pick a Resident Evil on any of these. That's kind of how I feel about Resident Evil. I think that it's not my type of game. I don't play horror games, and I certainly won't play a first person horror game. I'm a big wuss like that. I don't like jump scares. That's what a lot of it is. Um, and I don't think it has a chance of winning. Um, I think, I think Deathloop's going to take game of the year. There was just too much hype, and in terms of the reviews. And I'm talking about like leading up to the game. I saw so many just promos and just all this stuff going into it, and good for Bethesda and Sony, for doing it, because it's, well, Arcane, but Bethesda is a part of I'm sorry, Arcane is a part of Bethesda. So, but when it came out and everyone gave it like tens and nines, and it was so amazing. I think it's probably going to win game of the year. I don't think It Takes Two. I think they're going to win one of the smaller ones, even though I didn't pick them. They got a chance, in one of the smaller ones maybe. But I don't know. I don't think they're going to do it. Metroid Dread. I don't think so. It would be crazy if it did. It'd be a shocker. But that game came and went. People that loved it, and so Psychonauts 2. I think that game's getting a lot of love, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to win game of the year. I don't think it has what it takes to win game of the year. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, no way. Nope. It's a sequel, and it's like the ninth or seventh one of Ratchet and Clank. And I've already heard just some of the reviews that I've watched. I've already heard like it's just another, it's a lot of the same. So, and Deathloop, going back to Deathloop real quick, it's funny because Deathloop is being like just loved for being so creative and new. But man, that shit looks a lot like Arcane's other games. Dishonored. It looks just like Dishonored to me, but with guns. And I don't think Dishonored 1 or 2 had guns. I think it was more just melee stuff. It might have, and like powers and whatever. But I'm sorry, I don't think it looked too inventive. I don't think it didn't do anything completely new. But it was I heard that a lot too. So, but so yeah, back to Ratchet and Clank. Nope, don't think so. And Resident Evil Village. Um, uh, God, what was her name? Lady Themyscira or something like that. No, what was her name? I can't remember. So there's the villain in there. One of the villains. She's this like super tall, gothic, very beautiful, curvy. She got like she stole all of the mind share of that game. Because she was stacked, she was hot. I'm not gonna lie, I know it's a video game, but damn, they sure made her up just right. And I'm pretty sure it was Lady Themyscira, but she kind of took away from like what the game was in terms of like, just I don't know, I saw so many memes and a lot of videos just sort of cracking jokes about it. And like making like different skins, like they're already just diving into that type of stuff. So I don't think Resident Evil, I think it was kind of too close to Biohazard. It looked very similar. To me, it looked damn near the same. And Resident Evil, I played 1 and 2, beat them both, loved them, and then stepped away for a while, and I never really came back. Like I stepped away and I was like, I'll come back and play some of these games, and just never did. To me, that's Resident Evil, third person. Looking at your character, watching, the character move through and fight the zombies and shoot the zombies, and and it's more, I don't know, it's a little more tense. And in terms of, like the bullets are scarce and you don't, you got to make every shot count. With Resident Evil, like the last 2, I appreciate what they've done. I think they've done a fantastic job of like recreating the same IP, but in a different way, turning it into first person. It just, to me, it was immediate out. As soon as I saw that, I don't like melee games that are in first person. Elder Scrolls Online, you can play in first person, and it's all melee unless you're like a wizard or an archer. Nope. As soon as I knew that you could pull back into third person, that's where I'm at. So I'm not much of a first person melee player. So yeah, I think this is easily going to be Deathloop. I think maybe I think Metroid Dread could steal it, but I doubt it's going to happen. So that's it. That's going to be the awards. There were some other categories that I just totally glossed over. I don't trying to just think off the top of my head. What was it? It was like best influencer or something like that. Best esports player, best esports coach, best mobile game. I know. I'm not going to spend my time talking about it because honestly, when that part of the show comes on, I'll be on my phone or something. Maybe I'll have my PlayStation and I'll be playing a game. So to wrap it up, I am excited for the Game Awards, but not for the awards. I want to see the trailers. I want to see the announcements. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of people are in that same boat. You may look at this and say, "Oh no, I want to see," because Game of the Year awards means a lot to me. I get it. That's cool. And I used to be just like that. And I think, to me, the way that how it's kind of gotten so, it's not kind of gotten so, it's gotten very political. So games media to me is, they're like, it's like political media for kids, because it's like video games and cartoons and TV shows and movies and stuff. But it's just, I can see through it. So I don't put a lot of stock into corporate media sites who are voting on these. I just don't. So, and when I see, so-and-so won game of the year or whatever, like if I see Deathloop won game of the year, okay, I'm not surprised. Every media site said it was awesome, even though there was things that you could complain about the game, or, they overhyped a lot of things about that game. And again, I'm not here to tell you that this game is bad. That's not what I'm saying at all. I've watched videos on it. I watched reviews on it. I've seen the gameplay. Story sounds okay. I just, I don't know. I just don't think it didn't like blow me away. It wasn't a game that I saw and I'm like, I have to play this game. I can't miss this one. And I will say this, this year, 2021, for games in general, and I don't know, you may disagree with this, but I think it's been light. It's been very light on games for if I cared about game of the year awards or awards in general. I think this year there isn't much to really like get into. There just isn't. Next year is going to be such a huge year because there's a lot of like big name titles coming out. This year, the biggest title that came out as like a title that was like, holy shit, it's finally here, was Halo. It's not on the list. And I think it's because, simply because of the timing. It came out too late. It only came out a week ago, I think. The campaign side of it, I think the multiplayer released 2 weeks ago. But it just didn't make the cut, I guess. So, and I think if it was in here, it would be winning awards. I do. I just don't, there's nothing else on this. There's nothing on on these games that I've seen that just, I was like, oh man, I'm so bummed I haven't played this game. So, and usually I do. Usually there's at least 2 or 3 games a year that were, well received by players, by gamers, and the media at the same time. That's kind of rare. And usually when that happens, it's kind of it's a good indicator that everyone, this is worth your time. It will respect your time. But I just didn't see any games this year that made me feel that way. Nothing I needed to see. So that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. They are on tomorrow night, December 9th, my birthday. And I will be doing a review when it's over. I might not do it tomorrow night. I may wait for the next day. But maybe. We'll see how I feel. But once I do, check it out. We'll talk about, I'd like to go over, who won and what I think. And I would really like to go over the game trailers and announcements with you for sure. I definitely want to talk about that. But other than that, I think that's going to be a wrap for tonight. Thank you for taking the time. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click the subscribe button. If you think it's worth other people's time, you think that I respected your time and it's worth sharing, share it with your friends. Give me a thumbs up. I know that's the only option, but only if you think it's worth it. Do not give me one just for the whatevers. Just, if you really like the content, I appreciate the thumbs up. But I'm going to turn in for the night. It's time to go to bed. I'll talk to you later. Bye.